What if everything we've been told about the universe is just a little bit off? What if it wasn't born from some massive explosion, but from something much simpler, something much more constant? The flow of time. In this explainer, we're going to dive into a pretty radical idea, a theory that suggests everything, and I mean everything, from gravity to entire galaxies, is actually created by time itself. You know, for more than 100 years, we've had this picture of the universe painted for us, mostly by Einstein. And it's a beautiful picture, right? Massive things like stars and planets, they bend and warp the fabric of space-time, and that's what we feel as gravity. It's powerful, it's elegant, but what if it's not the whole story? Yeah, what if space isn't really the main actor here? What if gravity is something else entirely, just the result of time itself flowing at different speeds in different places? Now, just asking that one question, it blows the doors wide open to a completely new way of looking at the cosmos. It forces us to question things we thought were set in stone. Okay, so you might be thinking, why do we even need a new theory? Isn't Einstein's stuff good enough? Well, to get why, we need to go right to the edge of what we know, because out there, modern cosmology is running into some really big walls. For everything we've figured out, there are these huge, gaping questions we just can't seem to answer. So to make our current models work, to make the math line up with what we actually see out there, scientists have had to kind of invent a couple of things. You've heard of them: dark matter, this mysterious stuff that supposedly holds galaxies together, and dark energy, this strange force that's pushing the universe apart faster and faster. But here's a wild thought. What if they're not things at all? What if they're just side effects of how time works? And on top of all that, there's this even bigger problem, a real head-scratcher that physicists are losing sleep over. It's called the Hubble tension. So here's the deal with the Hubble tension. It's actually pretty simple to explain. When we look at galaxies close to us and measure how fast the universe is expanding, we get one speed. Okay, great. But when we look at the oldest light in the universe, that faint glow left over from the very beginning, the cosmic microwave background, and we do the same calculation, we get a different speed. And folks, they should be the same, but they're not. And we're not talking about a small rounding error here. This is a big, fundamental disagreement, and it's basically screaming at us that we're missing a major piece of the puzzle. And that major piece of the puzzle, that something big, might just be time itself. It might mean we have to rethink what time even is. So let's dive into this new idea that could potentially solve all these problems. It's called the vacuum cascade model. Now, this model, it's a game changer. It asks us to completely flip our thinking. See, we've always pictured time as this passive background, right? It's like the stage where the play of the universe happens. But the vacuum cascade model says, nope, that's all wrong. Time isn't the stage. Time is the lead actor. It's the one making everything happen. It's the active, creative force behind it all. Okay, so how does that even work? Well, let's break it down. In this model, the most basic thing happening in the universe is just time flowing. But, and this is key, it doesn't flow at the same rate everywhere. So imagine it kind of like water pressure in the deep ocean. That pressure pushes on everything around it. This model says time does the same thing, creating a sort of temporal pressure on empty space. And that pressure is what makes space curve. And get this, that curvature is literally everything we see. It shows up as gravity, as matter, as energy, even the expansion of the whole universe. So what this really means is that the universe isn't some old, fading echo from the Big Bang. It's not just coasting on fumes. No, it's being actively built right now, second by the flow of time. It's more like a living, breathing thing, a self-sustaining process that's always unfolding, always evolving. And this is where it gets really cool. This new way of thinking totally transforms how we see gravity. You know, the one force we all feel every single day. So forget all that stuff about bowling balls on a trampoline bending space. In this model, gravity is just a slope, but it's a slope in the flow of time. Think about it. Wherever time flows slower, it's like creating a dip, a downhill gradient. And other things naturally get pulled down that slope. It's actually a super intuitive way to picture it, isn't it? The difference between the old way and this new way is just profound. With Einstein's general relativity, you have matter telling a passive space-time grid how to bend. But in the vacuum cascade model, you have matter telling an active, flowing time how to slow down. The bending and curving we see is just a result of time moving at different speeds. It might sound subtle, but it's an absolutely massive distinction. Okay, so how does this new view of gravity actually help us with those big problems we talked about at the beginning? Well, it turns out it might have a stunningly simple and elegant answer for the Hubble tension.
Here's a fun fact. It turns out we live in a pretty weird neighborhood. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is sitting inside a truly enormous cosmic structure. It's called the KBC void, and it's basically a gigantic bubble in space, 2 billion light years across, that has way less stuff in it, less matter, fewer galaxies than the rest of the universe on average. So, let's circle back to the problem one more time just to be clear. We're measuring two different expansion speeds for the universe, depending on where we look. How is that even possible? Do we just mess up our measurements? Or is there something else, something deeper going on here?
Well, the vacuum cascade model has a wild, almost sci-fi answer. It says the difference isn't actually real. It's just an illusion. It's all about our point of view. Because we're looking at the universe from inside a very special place, a bubble where time itself flows differently. So, according to this theory, that giant KBC void we live in is what you could call a temporal basin. Because there's less matter clumped up in here, time actually flows just a little bit faster inside our void than it does outside. And from our perspective, here inside this fast time bubble, it makes everything out there look like it's speeding away from us faster than it really is. And just like that, poof, the Hubble tension isn't a conflict anymore, it's just an illusion, created by where we happen to live in the cosmic river of time.
So let's step back for a second. What does all of this actually mean? If a theory like this is right, it's not just about rewriting some physics textbooks. Oh no, it could literally rewrite our entire future. Because if time is a real, physical, creative force, then maybe, just maybe, one day we could learn how to control it, how to engineer it. And that right there, that's the ultimate takeaway. If time is what's generating gravity, matter, and energy, then any technology that could manipulate the flow of time would give us direct control over the very fabric of reality itself. Think about that. The possibilities are just staggering. I mean, imagine spacecraft that don't use rockets, but instead create little slopes in time to just, woof, slide through the cosmos. Or imagine being able to turn gravity on and off, or tapping into the vacuum of space for limitless, clean energy. This theory even touches on the idea that our own consciousness might just be our brain modulating the local flow of time. I mean, that's where physics starts to sound a lot like philosophy. Ultimately, what this new model asks of us is to see the universe in a new light, not as a static place, but as a dynamic, ongoing process. A universe that isn't just in time, but is actively and beautifully made of it. It suggests that every single tick of the clock is a fresh act of creation. And that's a pretty profound thought to leave you with, that maybe reality itself is just time becoming real.